Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Today is a beautiful day, but honestly, we are still trying to process the absolute insanity that just unfolded on our screens. Grab a huge cup of coffee and maybe a strong drink because we have so much to unpack today, and it is easily the most shocking thing we have ever had to talk about. And I mean it. I have been covering this show for a really long time. We all know the usual drama. We know the fashion showdowns, the stolen kisses, the boardroom yelling matches, and the endless back and forth between the Forresters and the Logans. But this, what just happened, is on an entirely different level. It is dark, it is violent, and it has completely changed the landscape of the entire show forever. I am still shaking just thinking about it. Ridge Forrester just ran over Bill Spencer and Katie Logan with his car. Literally, he hit them with his car. I am not exaggerating. I am not clickbaiting you. This actually just happened and my jaw is completely on the floor. So let's just back up for a second and look at how we even got to this absolute nightmare. The last few weeks have been a pressure cooker. We all saw it building. Hope Logan Spencer officially defected to Logan, and she didn't just leave quietly. No, she and Katie launched Hope by Logan in this massive, surprise, ASAP fashion show that completely blindsided Forrester Creations. And it wasn't just a regular fashion show. It was a calculated, strategic strike. Katie and Bill hijacked the international press corps that was in Los Angeles specifically for Eric Forrester's highly anticipated return to haute couture. They stole Eric's thunder. They stole the media. They turned Eric's big comeback into a footnote, and the fashion world was only talking about Hope and Deke Sharp's new designs. And Ridge has been losing his mind over this. We watched him pacing the CEO office, complaining bitterly about Hope's betrayal, viewing it as this unforgivable act of treason against the family. Ridge is fiercely protective of his father. Eric is his hero, his legacy, and to see Eric publicly humiliated and financially threatened by this Logan stunt just pushed Ridge to the absolute edge. He already fired Donna and threw her out of the building just for keeping the secret. He was boiling. He was a pot left on the stoveway to long, just waiting to explode. But nobody, and I mean nobody, thought the explosion would look like this. Let's talk about the scene because it is burned into my brain. The launch is a massive success. The orders are pouring in. And outside the building, Bill and Katie are celebrating. And let's be real, you guys know Bill Spencer. When Bill wins, he doesn't just win gracefully, he gloats, he rubs it in your face. He wants you to know that he beat you, that he is smarter than you, and that you are nothing compared to him. He and Katie were standing out there, practically glowing with arrogance. They were laughing, celebrating this ruthless corporate coup, looking like they just conquered the entire world. Katie was praising her own strategic genius, and Bill had that smug, triumphant, arrogant smile plastered all over his face. And Ridge was watching. He was sitting in his car, gripping the steering wheel, just watching them. You could see the rage radiating off of him. The camera zoomed in on his eyes, and it was terrifying. It wasn't just anger. It was a complete psychological break. Ridge couldn't stand it. He couldn't stand that smile on Bill's face. He couldn't stand that after everything, after all the history, Bill Spencer was once again standing there victorious while the Forrester family was left in ruins. All the decades of hatred, all the fights over Brooke, all the corporate espionage, it all just culminated in this one single moment inside that car. And then he just snapped. He literally just snapped. Ridge hit the gas. He didn't hesitate. He didn't second-guess himself. He pressed his foot down on the pedal and he steered that heavy, massive car straight toward Bill and Katie. The sound of the engine revving was so loud, and then the tires squealing against the pavement. It happened so fast, but it also felt like it was in slow motion. I was screaming at my television. What were they thinking? What was Ridge thinking? Who actually believes this is going to end well, but he didn't stop. The impact was horrific. It was a massive, brutal collision. The show didn't cut away. They showed the sheer violence of the car plowing into them. Bill and Katie didn't even have time to react. 1 second they are laughing and celebrating their fashion victory, and the next second they are thrown across the concrete. It was sickening. It was so visceral and real and just completely out of the usual soapy drama we are used to. This wasn't a slap to the face. This was a 2-ton weapon hitting human bodies at full speed. And then the aftermath. Oh my God, the aftermath. The car screeched to a halt, the dust settled, and there are Bill and Katie lying on the ground completely unconscious, and there was blood. A lot of it. They were lying in a pool of blood on the pavement. Katie, who has survived so much, who has had heart transplants and health crises, just lying there broken. And Bill, the invincible dollar bill Spencer, looking completely lifeless. It was chilling. It was absolutely chilling to watch. And then Ridge stepped out of the car. The look on his face is something I will never forget. It was this mixture of absolute shock, horror, and a terrifying kind of emptiness. He looked down at his hands. He looked at the bodies, and you could see the exact moment his brain caught up with what his body just did. He realized he had crossed a point of no return. There is no coming back from this. You can apologize for stealing a design. You can apologize for kissing someone's wife. You cannot apologize for running to people over with a car and leaving them bleeding out on the asphalt. Did he mean to kill them? Was it a spontaneous accident caused by blind rage? Or was it a calculated attempted murder? Honestly, looking at his face, I think it was a moment of pure, unadulterated madness. He lost control completely, but try explaining that to a judge. Because the police are already involved. The sirens started wailing in the distance almost immediately. The authorities are launching a full-scale investigation into this. This isn't something Chief Baker can just wave away with a stern warning. This is a major crime scene. There are tire tracks. There are witnesses. There is a motive. Ridge Forrester is facing decades in prison for this. Attempted murder, vehicular assault, aggravated battery. The charges are going to be astronomical. How on earth is Carter Walton going to defend this? Can you imagine the legal meetings at Forrester Creations right now? It is going to be a nightmare. And that brings me to the families. This is the part that is going to tear the entire show apart. The Forresters and the Logans are now standing on the brink of the bloodiest, most tense legal war in the history of this franchise. It is going to be an absolute bloodbath. Think about Brooke Logan Forrester. Her brain must be completely short-circuiting right now. Just hours before this, she was violently confronting Katie. She smashed a monitor in Katie's office. She declared Katie her #1 enemy for stealing hope. She was furious at her sister, but now her husband, the love of her life, Ridge, just tried to kill her sister. He ran over Katie and left her in a pool of blood. How does Brooke process that? Does she stand by Ridge, the man who just committed a horrific act of violence against her own flesh and blood? Or does she finally turn her back on him and stand by her critically injured sister? I honestly have no idea what she is going to do, and that makes it so compelling. Maybe I'm being too harsh on Brooke because she is always caught in the middle, but this is an impossible situation. And Steffy. Oh, Steffy is going to go to war. We know Steffy Forrester Finnegan. She defends her father to the absolute death. She already hated the Logans. She was already plotting aggressive vengeance against the Hope by Logan brand, and now her father's freedom is on the line. Steffy is not going to back down. She is going to hire the most ruthless defense attorneys money can buy. She will probably try to spin it, maybe say Bill jumped in front of the car or that Ridge had a medical emergency. She will do whatever it takes to keep Ridge out of prison, even if it means dragging Katie and Bill's names through the mud while they are fighting for their lives in the ICU. The corporate war was bad, but this legal war is going to be vicious. And then there is Hope. Poor, guilty, panicked Hope. She was already suffering a severe emotional breakdown before this even happened. She was crushed by the guilt of betraying her mother and abandoning Forrester Creations, but now she has to live with the fact that her fashion launch, her success, her secret contract with Katie is the direct catalyst for this tragedy. If she hadn't defected to Logan, if she hadn't launched that line, Bill and Katie wouldn't have been celebrating outside, and Ridge wouldn't have snapped. Hope is going to blame herself entirely. Liam is going to have to physically hold her together because the guilt is going to eat her alive. She wanted creative control. She wanted to step out of the Forrester's shadow, and the price of that freedom was a double attempted homicide. Just, wow. I can't even imagine the scenes we are going to get between Hope and Brooke next week. And what about Will Spencer? Will was already drowning in guilt for hiding corporate secrets from Elektra. He was struggling with the morality of his family's ruthless business tactics. Now his mother and his father are lying in a hospital, potentially dying because of those exact tactics. Will is going to be devastated, and it might just completely sever his relationship with Elektra. How can he look at a Forrester right now? How can he love a Forrester when the patriarch of that family just tried to slaughter his parents? The ripple effects of this crash are going to destroy every single relationship on this canvas. I keep thinking about Eric, too. Eric Forrester is a man of honor, a man of legacy. He was heartbroken over Donna's betrayal, but he is fundamentally a good man. To see his son commit such a horrific, violent act, it is going to break Eric's heart. The Forrester name, which he built on elegance and beauty and high fashion, is now going to be associated with a brutal vehicular assault. The media frenzy was already bad with the fashion rivalry, but now the press is going to descend on Los Angeles like vultures. Fashion mogul runs over rivals in cold blood. The headlines write themselves. Forrester Creations might not survive the PR fallout of this, no matter how hard Steffy tries to control the damage. Honestly, I am still just reeling from the visuals. The way Ridge looked when he got out of the car. The way Bill and Katie looked on the pavement. The writers really swung for the fences with this one. Sometimes we complain that the show gets repetitive, that it's just the same love triangles over and over again. But they really proved us wrong today. They took the corporate tension and escalated it into a literal life or death crime thriller. So what happens next? Will Bill and Katie survive? I mean, they have to, right? They are legacy characters. But they are going to be severely injured. There will be surgeries, comas, rehabilitation. And when Bill Spencer wakes up, oh boy, if you thought Bill was ruthless before, imagine a Bill Spencer who has just been the victim of an attempted murder by his oldest rival. Bill is going to unleash a hellfire on Ridge and the entire Forrester family that will make this car crash look like a minor disagreement. He will want Ridge behind bars for the rest of his natural life, and he will use all of his billions to make sure it happens. This is the start of a brand new era for the show. The lines are drawn in blood now. There is no more playing nice. There are no more fashion compromises. This is war. A legal war, a family war, a war for survival. I am exhausted just talking about it. My fingers are cramping from typing this out so fast, but I cannot wait to see what happens tomorrow. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. Did Ridge mean to do it? Will Brooke leave him? How will Steffi defend this? Sound off, and I will see you all in the next update.